Welcome to AutoSens, the world's leading community for ADAS and autonomous vehicle technology development. We create best-in-class events, training, and information for the purpose of connecting the global community of engineers, scientists, and other automotive industry experts. We are joined today by Simon Bastås, sales engineer at Kognic. And Simon, welcome to AutoSens. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, and looking forward to this interview.
Simon, give us a high-level overview of Kognic. Tell us just a little bit about the company.
So we're a software company that provides MLOps tooling for the AD and ADAS machine learning development industry. And what we supply is a highly effective and optimized tools for the automotive industry to really optimize the data flow in your products.
Simon, at Kognic, you believe in the value of data sets, and in particular, the iteration of data sets. Can you tell us a little bit more about what is meant by the iteration of data sets?
Yes, of course. So when we develop machine learning models, and especially in supervised machine learning, it's the annotated data that instructs the program what it should do, and not only the code as in. And if we compare it to classic software development, I think we all have agreed that iteration is the way to go. The classical waterfall architectures that we've used in the past has shown its clear limitations. And we think it's the same applies for developing of machine learning models. And some examples why are, we think you should iterate on the collection of data. We think it's super hard and almost impossible to know beforehand how much data and what kind of data you need for your project to fulfill your required model performance. And we also think that you should iterate on what and how to annotate. If it's hard to know how much data you need beforehand, I think it's really impossible to know what you should do with it. And as you go into a project, you start training your model, you learn new things about your model and what you need and how to adapt to those situations. And also, like the world changed as well, right? So during the last years, for example, here in Gothenburg in Sweden, we have had a lot of e-scooters on the planet all of a sudden, and your model needs to be able to predict those. And then as you need to adapt to those kind of changes. And lastly, we think that you should iterate on the annotation quality. We should not lie, datasets are not error-free. Even the open source datasets that we use for benchmarking contains errors. And even if you double, triple, or even quadruple check everything, it's not guaranteed that will find your errors, and it's not really cost efficient. So we believe that you should iterate on your data quality in parallel with your model elevation.
Simon, that brings us to data refinement. And on the Kognic website, data refinement is referred to as the secret sauce. Simon, give us a perspective on data refinement. What is meant by that from Kognic's point of view?
Yeah, data refinement in that product area of ours, we have developed a new tool that we call the prediction gap lens. And what we do there is we help our clients to iteratively improve the model performance by comparing their predictions from the model to the annotated data. And by visualizing them side by side, we can start to visualize whether the model and the data agree, whether they disagree. And we can also compare the distribution of data. Like, is there something like, can we find some performance gaps here? And then with powerful filtering and sorting feature, we can slice and dice in the data to be able to draw these actionable insights.
Simon, can you give us some examples of data refinement?
Yes, of course. So one thing you can do with the tool is that you can find mistakes in your data sets by filtering on very confident predictions from your model, and where we have no matching annotations. And it allows you to go from searching for the needle in a haystack for annotation mistakes to have all these cases brought to the surface. And since this is connected to our entire annotation tool chain, it's very easy for you to either, as a client, fix the problems directly, or you send back a batch of data for corrected review and correction. Another case would be that you have the same case that we have some predictions that doesn't have a matching annotation, and according to your instructions, that's completely correct, but still your model finds an object here. And these are these cases that perhaps you need to update your instructions. For example, one client of ours did not annotate objects that were inside buildings or through windows because they didn't think that was necessary. But still, their model found those, and that affected both their training and their model evaluation. So by understanding this flaw by your tool, they could iterate on your instructions, but they also had the tool to very quickly identify these cases and update them accordingly. And finally, we also have the example where your model performance is not as good as you want it to be. And then by using our advanced filters, you can understand if there's a lack of data for this specific scenario, or if you need to look somewhere else to increase your model performance.
Speaking with Simon Bastås, sales engineer at Kognic, talking about the iteration of data sets and then ultimately data refinement and examples of data refinement. Simon, from all of us here at AutoSens, we want to thank you for being with us. Safe travels to Brussels, of course, and we look forward to being able to sit down and do this again with you in the near future. But until then, thank you for being with us, Simon.
And thank you very much, and hope to see you in Brussels.
For more in-depth interviews like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow AutoSens on LinkedIn. For more information on our world-class events, visit auto-sense.com. That's auto-sense.com. In Detroit, on behalf of AutoSens, I'm Carl Anthony.